When I was looking at my options for flying from Singapore to Hong Kong in business class with Cathay Pacific, I could either go direct, or for little price difference, if any, I could go via Bangkok in Thailand. Most people would probably pick the former, but not me, as I wanted to maximise my time in business class. The stopover in Bangkok was quite the experience, and I'll get to show you the whole cabin. Fasten your seatbelts and come along to see what the whole experience was like. Welcome back to Terminal 4 at Singapore Changi International Airport. Terminal 4 is the newest terminal at this airport, having opened in 2017. Cathay Pacific was actually the first airline to use this new terminal. Check-in here today had separate lines for first class, business class, and a line for just self-bag drop for economy class. Even with business and first class, you put the bags on the conveyor belt yourself, but there's someone to help you and do some other stuff. There was basically no line, and the staff were friendly. I didn't think that we would, but I believe I confirmed with the check-in agent that we didn't have to get off the plane in Bangkok. We were given lounge invites for here in Singapore, but also Bangkok. I got 2 separate boarding passes as well. I did notice that there appeared to be assistance lines for check-in if you can't do it yourself. Before security, it looked like there was a good few restaurants. Security was pretty automated and quick once again, taking a bit under 3 minutes. I went through Airside here in my Korean Air video. Today, we'll focus on the Cathay Pacific Lounge, which I have access to thanks to my business class ticket. Cathay Pacific's Singapore Lounge has the new Cathay Pacific Lounge style, which you'll also see in the Pier Lounge in Hong Kong, and I love this style. First up, here's a look at the buffet section, which had a somewhat limited selection. There was no bar, but as well as other drinks, there was self-serve alcoholic drinks. I don't think there was any shower rooms, but the bathrooms were nice. The staff were very nice, and there was Wi-Fi in the lounge. What made up for the slightly smaller buffet, in my opinion, was the dim sum bar, where you can order dim sum to be cooked fresh. In that section, there's a lot of kind of booths, which I'm not sure about this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's supposed to be a similar style to what you'll find in a traditional Hong Kong cafe. Some of the food from there was just nice, but not great, but I thought the laksa was delicious. My ride to Hong Kong will be Bravo Lima Romeo Golf, a 2016 built Airbus A350-900 delivered new to Cathay Pacific.
CX712 to Hong Kong via Bangkok. Boarding will commence in approximately 5 to 10 minutes.
There's one of Scoot's new Embraer 190 E2s. Would you like to see me review that aircraft? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Boarding started a little late, with automated boarding gates. There was different lanes for first class, business class, and economy. Thank you. Welcome on board a Cathay Pacific Airbus A350-900, which features 38 Safran Cirrus 3 seats in a reverse herringbone pattern in business class. Behind the main business class cabin, there's a smaller one with just 2 rows, where my seat for today is located, more specifically, seat 20A. Waiting for me on my seat was a pillow, a blanket, as well as a bottle of water and a pair of headphones. Welcome drinks were offered soon after I got on board, with orange juice, water, or champagne on offer, and maybe apple juice was earlier. The seat is basically the same as on my previous Cathay A350 flight. I went through it in more detail in that review, but here's the storage compartment, and there's the button which pops out the in-flight entertainment screen. There's a remote and some controls here. In this thing here, you can store some stuff, and there's also power outlets in there. Unlike my last 2 Cathay business flights, since this one I think is in a regional flight category, there's just one menu. Here's the tray table. It's a really nice big seat, and there's some literature stored just down there. This thing does pop up, and this thing comes up too, but I'll show you that later in the flight.
You're aboard Cathay Pacific's Airbus A350 service, the continuation of Cathay's A350 service to Bangkok. As your safety is very important to us, please take a moment and pay attention to this short presentation. Flying time, 2 hours. I don't plan to talk to you again until prior to descent to Bangkok, where we'll update you on the weather and our arrival time. So until then, please enjoy the flight and make the most of Cathay's wonderful in-flight service. Thank you.
The flight time on this trip is approximately 2 hours, and we're looking forward to taking care of you during the flight.
I thought the door was closed quick. It seems to be a super empty flight. You are able to book just the Singapore to Bangkok leg, because I believe this is a 5th Freedom flight. I don't actually know the technicalities behind that, so feel free to let me know.
Welcome aboard Cathay Pacific. Your safety is important to us, so please take a few minutes to watch the following as we present the safety features of this aircraft.
地極安全對我哋嚟講非常重要，請用幾分鐘留意呢段短片。
Seatbelt sign is switched on.
我哋亦有提供兩歲以下嘅兒童專用安全帶。
Unlike in the front business cabin, lots of people walk past this mini cabin during boarding. Also, hot towels were handed out, but I forgot to film it. Sorry. The safety video soon played, and not long later, it was time for pushback, about 5 minutes early. Glasses were collected and orders taken after pushback.
將雙手向前伸直，
Once you have exited the aircraft, move away immediately.
離開機艙後，請迅速遠離飛機。新程序。
Now that we're almost ready for takeoff, make sure your tray table and TV are put away. Your seats should now be in the upright position and your seatbelt fastened.
我哋即將起飛，請確保你嘅接台同電視帶。
Finally, and just as importantly,
最後祝各位旅途愉快。
enjoy the journey.
Baggage had to be put in the overhead bin for this bulkhead seat. I think this was just for takeoff and landing, but I didn't note that down. If you're enjoying this video so far and would like to see more of it, please consider liking and subscribing. It would seriously help out both me and the channel so much, and would also be so much appreciated. But if you don't want to, that's completely okay.
Cabin crew, please be seated for takeoff. Thank you.
It's now time for takeoff on runway 20 centre. Here's the menu, which contains the options for lunch. And there's the power outlets that I was talking about earlier. I was served my main meal and appetizer all on one tray, quickly after takeoff. For the main, I went for the pickled braised beef in chili and soy sauce. The beef was decent and the sauce was tasty. This was served with some mixed vegetables and steamed rice, which was good, and for the starter, there was seasonal fresh fruit, which was nice and fresh. The meal also came with some butter, some water, the Cathay Delight, which I ordered, as well as chopsticks and other cutlery. There was also this chili, which appears to be in some oil. Not long after I got the main stuff on the tray, a basket of warm bread was offered with garlic bread, a sort of normal bread roll, and a bread roll with seed on offer. I went for the first two. Once I was finished with my meal, Häagen-Dazs ice cream was offered, with the options being strawberry, vanilla or cookies and cream. The ice cream that I had was tasty. Here's a look at the lavatory, which has a view.
Thank you for flying with Cathay Pacific and have a wonderful day. Keep crew landing in 30 minutes. Thank you.
For the first bit of the flight, it seemed that the satellite wasn't working to provide Wi-Fi, but I don't think it ever started working.
Tables to your handbag items and larger devices such as laptops.
During descent, the crew confirmed that we were continuing to Hong Kong and said to stay on the plane. I noticed that I think premium economy was completely empty. sure, but I think we might have just executed a missed approach, as the gear went down but then back up, and even after turning towards the runway, we turned away again. I'm not sure why, maybe an ATC reason or something. Now enjoy the sped up approach and actual landing on Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi International Airport's runway 19 right. My family and I ended up being the only ones continuing to Hong Kong, and so along with the crew, we had the whole plane to ourselves for a little bit. I also found out that the cabin crew will change. The first set of crew were absolutely amazing. They were helpful, funny, super friendly, and still professional. I even got to go up and speak to the pilots in the cockpit for a few minutes. The whole experience was amazing, unlike any experience I've had before. I also got to see the cleaning crew come on to get the plane ready for the rest of the passengers, and also catering get loaded. As I said I would earlier, I'll now take you through a tour around the cabin. Here's the premium economy cabin, featuring 28 Collins Aerospace MIQ seats in a 242 configuration, and behind that, in economy class, you'll find 214 Collins Aerospace Pinnacle seats in a 333 layout. Back to the business class cabin, here's my seat in its flatbed configuration. After the new set of crew got on board, I was offered drinks. Among the drinks on offer was some refreshing drink from Thailand. I called it a tea juice thing because I didn't really know what it was, and I still don't. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments. I had the drink from Thailand, which was great. Passengers started getting on board for the leg to Hong Kong at roughly 3:45, so roughly an hour after the others disembarked. I was then offered the same selection of drinks, that being champagne, well, for other passengers, orange juice, the aforementioned mystery drink, and water. I got another one of whatever the Thai drink was. Upon analysing it further, I thought it might be a sweet lemon iced tea or something. Hot towels were then offered. These ones weren't super hot.
Already go over on the flight deck, just waiting for the last of the bags to be loaded. Launch underway, flying time of 2 hours and 12 minutes. Please enjoy the flight and make the most of Cathay's wonderful in-flight service. Thank you.
On behalf of Cathay Pacific and our team, I would like to welcome you on board CX712, our one-world flights to Hong Kong.
I think the crew said that business class is full on this flight.
Welcome aboard Cathay Pacific.
It's now time for pushback from Bangkok, 7 minutes early. They came around during pushback and confirmed our name and asked for meal orders and a drink to go with it. And also, in the case that we were sleeping, if we should be woken.
Simply pull the red toggle down for me.
救生衣上面附有哨子同燈。
If there's an emergency, or you hear the phrase, brace, brace, escape path lighting switches on automatically to guide you to the exits.
Please be seated for takeoff. Thank you.
It's now time for takeoff on Bangkok Suvarnabhumi International Airport's runway 19 right.
Safety, please keep your seatbelt fastened over the blanket while seated. Now please sit back, relax, and enjoy the kidney service. Thank you.
My food was served not too long after takeoff, but not quite as quick as the last time, I didn't think. It smelled so good. For the main meal, I went for the pork with rice. I forgot to film the menu, so I'm not sure what all of this is called. The pork rice was tasty, but like the first meal, it wasn't amazing. The salad wasn't really my kind of thing, as I'm not a huge seafood fan, but it tasted like it would have been decent if you like that sort of thing, but I'm not too sure. Like on the last flight, bread was offered, with this time the options being garlic bread, a panini, or a whole grain bread roll. I went for the last two. They were a bit not too fresh. After the meal, ice cream was offered once again, with this time the options being strawberry, Biscoff and caramel, or macadamia, I think it was. By the way, I didn't get my drink with my meal, so I asked the crew for it, and they were very apologetic, and went to get it straight away. After the service, the lights were dimmed. Later on, I got a Hong Kong style milk tea.
Sent to Hong Kong. Weather in Hong Kong, it's quite a nice evening down there at the moment. The wind is blowing variable, it's mostly fine. Quite a warm temperature still of 31 degrees Celsius. It's about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Currently, and subject to air traffic control, we should be landing pretty close to 10 minutes to 8. Disembarking shortly thereafter, ahead of our scheduled arrival time, probably about 5 minutes past 8. Do trust you managed to enjoy your flight. It's certainly been a pleasure to have you aboard. We look forward to seeing you again when next you fly. Thank you. Cabin crew, thank you for your hard work. 30 minutes to London.
Sit and ensure the hand baggages, loose items, larger devices such as laptop and tables are stored. Sit back in the takeoff position and your seatbelts fastened.
After the captain's 30 minutes before landing announcement, the mood lighting was turned on.
Can we complete landing checklist? Thank you.
By the way, if you're wondering what the entertainment is like, check out my previous Cathay A350 review, as I went through it in detail there, so I didn't think it would be necessary to do that again. But it is a fantastic in-flight entertainment system. As we descend into Hong Kong, please allow me to conclude these flights with Cathay Pacific. Both check-in and the lounge in Singapore were great. Boarding was fine, no problems. They were on both flights, but particularly on the first flight, the crew were amazing, professional, friendly, etc. The welcome hot towel and drinks were great. The seat is fantastic. I wouldn't say incredible, but getting close. For me at least, though it is a newer seat, the design and colours made it feel not old, but older than it actually is. Maybe that's just me though, I don't know. It was unfortunate that the Wi-Fi didn't work for me on these flights, and wasn't working on my last Cathay A350 flight either. The drinks that I had were fabulous. However, I don't feel that the food is what Cathay is known for in business class, and that makes sense. On these flights, it was great, but nothing to write home about. Since both of these fall under, I guess, a regional category, I believe unlike flying direct from Singapore to Hong Kong, the dining wasn't as extensive, nor did it feel quite as fancy, since it was all served on one tray. But that's to be expected, really. The stopover experience in Bangkok was so cool. It was amazing to see some behind the scenes, and that the first flight was pretty empty. So if you're an aviation enthusiast like me, then I'd suggest at least considering going via Bangkok on this route. Considering what I paid for this flight, I would say it was 100% worth what I paid, and I was glad to have gone via Bangkok. We'll soon pull into the gate in Hong Kong, about a little more than 10 minutes early. But for now, enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Hong Kong International Airport's runway 07 left.
Welcome to Hong Kong. For your safety, please remain seated with seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Please be careful when opening the overhead compartment, as items inside may fall out. Kindly take all your belongings with you when leaving the aircraft. You may now switch on your personal electronic devices with cellular function. For passengers who connecting flight with Cathay Pacific, please reserve time for security check and arrive at the boarding gate at least 30 minutes before departure. It has been a pleasure looking after you. We hope to see you again soon. Thank you for flying Cathay Pacific, a member of the One World Alliance. Thank you and goodbye.
歡迎嚟到我哋嘅香港，為安全起見，請各位座位應保持安全帶扣上。
about to turn onto our final parking position, and we've been told by some ground staff and marshallers to hold our position. They're just moving some ground equipment out of the way. Once that's done, we should be cleared to park on our final parking position, which the good news is very close to immigration. So if you could all please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the seatbelt sign is extinguished. Thank you.
I wonder if they weren't quite ready for us yet, because we're arriving early. Also, it's great to be close to immigration, because this airport is big. I thought that the mini business class cabin was good in some ways. It felt a little more private, and when it's an empty flight, it's great. But there is a lot more walking traffic, so keep that in mind. Business class passengers were let off first, which I think is a pretty standard thing. I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much for watching today's video. A like and subscription if you enjoyed would help out me and the channel so much, and would help this video to be recommended to more people, but if you don't want to, that's completely okay. I'd like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support is truly so much appreciated, and I couldn't do what I do without them. Once again, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one, next Saturday at 5 PM Melbourne time.